So, hello and welcome back to this episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm fucking glad. I'm fucking glad to be here again. I just before record another episode, so today there are actually two episodes. There's every single Friday and Saturday and Sunday, which actually, to really be honest, which actually provides me with an additional, I think the double amount of the episodes that I'm putting out in general on 1 week or in 1 week, only through the episodes that I'm doing, or the double of the amount of the episodes that I'm doing on the weekends. The whole fucking week gets, so much more content, practically. But actually, we're going through another book, and I've actually seen one, which is totally something that's not quite that, you actually can see it in the background. Which is definitely something that's not too common for me. I kind of feel like, because I've gone through so many fucking books, it's just incredible. We will go through. This is Where to Start by Edward Drews. Is it Drews? Yeah, it's Drews. It's Drews. Which is basically about where to start. Kinda. Which is, I think, actually a great book, because a lot of people do not know how to start. I think it's primarily about business. I actually don't know. There is nothing like a little summary or just some kind of insights of the book. I've only just scrolled through if there's actually something that I like, or if there are some things that actually I think are not good. And if there are too many things that I think are not good, I'm quite forced to not go through the book. I've once actually gone through a book that I actually didn't like, and I was like, okay, I really had to add another segment to my podcast so that people actually see, okay, this book, and actually just really wrote it down in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video as well, but I do not want people to do what there, was being said in the book or in the book summary, because I thought it's not true, and it's not true is a little bit kind of spongy term, but it's not quite what I think is right. This was the thing. I do not really want to bring something to people, or say something to people, or suggest something to people that I don't think is right, or just something like right, or at least great, or whatever, but it wasn't great as well. So it was completely shit, and it was actually from Ride Holiday. This is something that I know definitely, but it was something about marketing as well. But yeah. Let's go on with This Is Where to Start by Edward Drews. Actually, one of the first point is actually one of the points that I would say, okay, this is some kind of strange, and I just have to think about it and have to talk about it. But yeah. So, the book in 3 sentences. No one wants to be your mentor, which is the first one, and which is totally, I think, something that I quite believe in, but I think I will just go through it on another time, because I just see that, the 5 big ideas are actually also containing just one step, or just one point. The second one is stop looking for something you love, and instead follow something you're curious about. Something that, this is actually the point, or was actually the point that I was just talking about, and I don't know, it is a little problematical just thing. Because I always talk about just doing something you love, doing something you're passionate about, doing something you actually like to do your whole life long. The thing is, I definitely understand that people say, or some people might be saying, okay, please do something that you're curious about. But the problem about this, on the other hand, could be that maybe you're just curious about it, and just you're thinking that you're curious about it, and that you might like it, but at the end it's not what you actually like to do. And the thing is, it could also take such a long time to actually, for you actually being able to be a good person, or not a good person, but good at that certain skill. If you're thinking like, okay, Elon Musk actually did the same shit. He before didn't have anything to do with rocket science or quite anything else, and it was then just amazing that he just read a few books, gone through a few books, I think actually all the books he found about rocket science, also physics and so on, and then he was able to actually build these great rockets, with the team and with other people and so on and so on and so on. But He's the primarily just person who I think kinda is actually controlling or kinda going through every step of the production and the developing and whatsoever. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I still believe that you should actually do something that you love and something that you like, because this is then totally sure that you are good at it, because most of the time when people just like something, they are good at it, and you just like to do it, and you know that you like it, and you know that you won't be bored of it, hopefully, even after a few months, and this is, I think, pretty important. The third one is, I actually should show you again, ask yourself, how can I make this person more successful at what they do? This book consists of a lot of questions, which is totally something that I like, because I think, and this is quite the same thing that I was talking about in the last episode as well, I really, really love questions, and I do believe in questions that they are so powerful, and they can get you where you want to be, because they just explain certain things to you. They explain things to you that you might not be thinking about. And therefore, just by asking yourself things, you just have to be truthful to yourself. You know, you could be just lying to yourself, but this doesn't make any fucking sense. So please don't do that. But if you just ask yourself, okay, what can I make for this person, or how can I make this person more successful at what they are doing? Then you just have to be like, okay, you could do this, or you could do that. And maybe you come to a conclusion you haven't thought about. And maybe you haven't thought about even just really putting people on and not actually being so selfish and just willing to be so rich, which is, I think, a lot of things, which is definitely something that a lot of people think about if they're thinking about business and think about having their own brand or whatsoever. A lot of people still think about, getting money, which was, to be really fucking honest, which is actually, or was, the first intent I had with what I was doing. I was like, okay, I want to make a few bucks besides what I'm doing, or even want to be able to just really do it full time. And especially I was like, okay, while I'm, going to school, while I'm doing something else, while I'm just, not working quite, I just want to have something that I can build some money on. Because I quite feel like, okay, I don't really want money because I just want to buy some things. This is the funny thing about it. I quite want money because I want money. Some sort of. Maybe I will buy myself just, I don't know. I'm just not buying anything right now. I'm just buying only the things that I'm actually eating, And therefore I'm thinking like, why would I then just use the money for some other things, for expensive cars or expensive fucking other shit, if I'm not actually spending anything now, which is some kind of like the same proportion then, if I'm like nowadays not spending anything for, I don't know, certain exotic foods or something that I would actually like to eat, but it's too expensive for me, or I think about it as being too expensive, why would I then just buy myself a car if I can, It's actually the same thing with the people who are just talking about charity and donating things. And they all talk about, okay, if I would be so rich, I would just donate everything, I would donate as much as possible, or at least more than all the other rich people are actually doing. But it's wrong. And I quite feel it is wrong, because all these people just think about a scenario where they think like, okay, this is just completely different than it is now. The thing is, I understand, okay, if you're winning in the lottery, I believe that people will just spend their money on stupid shit, because they aren't used to working for it, they don't know how to generate it, they don't know how to build it, and so on and so on and so on, which is, in my point of view, a very, very important task, because they just do not know what they should do with the money. This is just some kind of problem. I do not know how I should actually describe it to you, but it's something that's totally, I think, this could totally fuck you if you just, So I actually I would never like to win the lottery, to be honest. I would like to work for my money, and I would just really want to work for just what I want to achieve. Just someone coming up to me giving $1 million, I wouldn't even know what I would do with it. I would actually, I think, save it. And I think it's for me read about the process, read about the process actually pursuing the dream of having a lot of money or pursuing the dream of generating that much money. I think this is actually something or would be something that is just some kind of addicting to me or could be some kind of addicting to me, even though it sounds just some sort of a little negative, but I kind of feel like I will just, really try and try and try and do and do and do, unless I will just come closer and closer and closer. The thing is, when I then just achieve my dream and my goal of, I don't know, having something like, I don't know what, this is where I do not want to stop. I think I will just go on with it and try to make it more and more and just live a happy life. I think this is one of the things that I came to or I thought about way more often through Self-Development with Tactics podcast, which is totally great for me because I just see life as completely something different. Years ago, and I just still see people at my age and even older, they only think about like doing this and that and whatever, not about the health, which is in my opinion also just a really great point in life. Health, it's important. A lot of people dismiss it anyways. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't know. This is something that I'm quite sad about. Just so much people do not just understand that health is something important. And I understand it is. Without health you can't do anything else. Without health everything is fucked. But still I kind of feel like a lot of people just don't understand this or don't want to understand this. And they then still just eat just really crappy food and just big shit. Not like really shit and just normal. Like the thing is, it's just even normal. How people are eating, they're eating junk food and shit and just everything that's quite often cheap. I'm eating cheap as well, by the way, which is totally possible with me and being healthy. Totally, you can do this as well. But they just buy shit and eat shit, and I don't understand why. I think, was it a documentary? I don't know. There were just a family which was quite poor, and it was some kind of complaining about having, the vegetables being too expensive, and for the vegetables they could actually buy themselves 2 liters of Coke or actually 2 hamburgers at McDonald's or some shit like this. And I thought like, okay, I understand this. And then it was the really tip of the iceberg, like not in terms of the picture tip of the iceberg, but in terms of really the just when I said like, okay, I'll go. And when they actually said, they don't care because I think the father of them, he was just ill and he had to just take medicine, which is fairly expensive, and they were like, okay, they just they don't care if they're just paying for the medicine and eat shit rather than not paying for the medicine and eat healthy and being healthy and so on. They actually say that, and I hope I recap that in a correct way. So I do not really want to judge anyone. I understand people. I really try to understand people because there's something in my mind that tells me to judge people and just think about them in a negative way, which is definitely something that I go into my fucking brain and say, no man, you're not doing this, it's not okay, why are you doing this? And then I think about the people, think, what would I do if I would be them? And I just often do then understand, okay, then I would probably do just the same thing as they are doing. But yeah, I think I should actually head on. So the 5 big ideas. No one wants to be your mentor. That's totally true, and I will just speak about it now. I think it's totally true. Because just, people, and I actually did it, to be honest. I sent one guy an email who actually just some kind of advertised him, like, quote unquote, on LinkedIn that he is actually a mentor and so on. And then I asked him if you want to be my mentor. I never got an email back. This is a spoiler, sorry. But I feel like, why would anyone be someone's mentor unless they don't just, really know themselves quite closely, or they just at least know them, and not me actually just hitting up someone, via email. But I think no one would, if they just especially don't know them, maybe they're just knowing them for a little bit, and why would they? I don't know. It quite feels for me like going up to a stranger and asking them if you want to be friends. Being a mentor and being friends is something like the same, or it should be something like the same. The thing is, you can actually pay for mentorship. This is something I do quite think about, like, okay, it could be great and it could not be great. At my point of view, and it might be just something like an old view, an old point of view, just a really, it's not old, it's another word, not adjective, but never mind. I think like being a mentor and a mentee, they should actually have a relationship, and the relationship should not be consistent or should not be made up through money. This is what I think about, this is just my point of view, and yeah, why would anyone be your mentor? I think you just have to have something that makes it worth for them, at least some kinda. But yeah, never mind. We're actually at the 5 big ideas, if I haven't mentioned. Okay. The second one is, one must face the reality that attracting a mentor is a long and patient process, but it's imperative to develop skills and reputation to create such an opportunity. The third one is, stop looking for something you love, and instead, I've talked about this. The fourth one is, a key mindset you need to take on is that you are filling a very real void. Your mindset needs to be that you are adding to the party and not taking from it. I think this is actually a pretty nice one, just giving to the party, giving away to the people, and so on. This is practically what I stand for as well. And the fifth and last one is, ask yourself, how can I make this person more successful at what they do? Something totally, an incredible question to ask yourself, and also maybe other people, if you're in an interview or something. But yeah, it's totally what it is. The thing is, striving for money is okay, but most of the time I think just striving for the money is just really not that, a great way to just get the money. Yeah. Period. Quite period. And this is where to start summary. So no one wants to be a mentor, quite definitely, unfortunately maybe. As a general rule, the word mentor is to be left alone and only used in retrospect, when you need a convenient label to sum up the relationship you had. Okay, I don't quite understand what he's saying. I think he's only kind of, just talking about the term mentor. So 3 things to look for in a mentor. I'm very sorry, I'm again a little slimy. And they know how to make money and show signs of being profitable. I don't know, it always depends on, what mentor you're willing to have. Whether it's a mentor at business things, or if it's a mentor at doing something graphic design-ish. The thing is, if you're just, willing to have a mentor in business and money making, money generating and whatsoever, having someone that's quite healthy and wealthy, but especially wealthy on his own might be a good idea, because if you're just, heading up to someone who is actually fucking poor on himself, how should he just, teach you how to make money if he doesn't have money himself? And they have demonstrated ambition to grow, and there is potential for in-person work. So I'll just close up it a little bit so that you can recap it once. And yeah, one must face the reality that attracting a mentor is a long and patient process, but it's imperative to develop skills and a reputation to create such an opportunity. I've talked about this, yeah. Stop looking for something you love. Actually, I did this one as well. A key mindset you need to take on is that you are filling a very, and I've read this one as well. Great. 3 things you need to be ready. And I'll just close it up. Actually, always great with this. I actually wonder if it is actually too big, and if it's actually not that great to look at it, if it's really quite so fucking big. But yeah, I think I'll play with it. I think it's great to have some, camera settings and to just, change up things a little bit so that everything is not quite always looking the same and to just make it maybe a little bit more interesting. So 3 things you need to be ready. A development market hard skills. One way to distinguish yourself to a potential business mentor is to develop skills that will be valuable to their company. Definitely. And there's always the same thing with just getting a job and or getting an internship, is that a lot of people always just speak about them. They're just speaking about them and them and them, but not speaking about the business, not speaking about the guy who is actually owning the business, the guy you're actually willing to take an internship in. And this is the problem. Because, why would they actually, or he or she or, whatever it is, or whoever it is, why would they want you in their company if you're only talking about yourself, giving yourself more, earning some money off of you, and so on? They're never ever thinking, and also saying or talking about something like, I want to contribute your business, I want to help your business, I want to help you, and so on. This is just one-sided, and this is not what you should do. So always in an internship, do not talk, or any letter, any job application, whatever it is, do just talk about the business, not about you. A little bit about you, because you just have to sometimes, but talking about the business like, I want to help them, it's not about me, it's about you, I want to help you, I want to just do something for you that you can benefit from. Yeah, and I think it also helped me to get my internship for this year as well. So I just used it, I always quite use it, and I think this was one of the reasons. And also being generally interesting, and also maybe my skills as a graphic designer weren't too bad as well. Having a great document, having a great portfolio is definitely also one of the things that could be a reason why they actually just want to employ you. Read everything the person you're contacting has ever written, watch every video and listen to every interview, study every page of their website. Definitely a great point, especially also when you're applying for a job and you're in a job interview, and just, they ask you like, do you have any questions? And being like, no, everything is clear, seems to be great, but I do still think that you should use the opportunity to really, get to them and ask them questions about them. Because as you might know, people really like to talk about themselves. And therefore, it would actually be great to just ask them, about, I did it, I used it in my job interview when I was just applying for the internship and had my job interview about the internship. I was like, how did you get this client and that client, and it's just amazing what you did, and so on. I just try to be interesting, and I just understand and I knew that people just like to talk about themselves, and I kind of wanted to give him, it was a he, him the opportunity to talk about his business, talk about what he's doing, talk about the work they are doing, and so on. I think this is just great for the people. And the third one is get inside their head, regardless of the area you're looking to help someone in. You must understand their core motivation as well as the structure of their overall business and what's getting them out of bed in the morning. Definitely important. I think this also has to do with some kind of being connected to them, being connected to them in a very personal way. Really, like, if you're just talking to them. And I've been just lately putting out a post about it, I think it actually was yesterday, that being successful actually is 80% how you can deal with people and 20% your actual skills. And I believe in this. And I believe in this not only because Dale Carnegie said it in his book How to Win Friends and Influence People, no, but I also just believe in it from a very practical standpoint of view, or just standpoint. Because it makes sense, most of the time, I just played through a few scenarios and just had to see if this is actually the truth. But I think it is actually, because if you're just working somewhere, you just have most of the time to do anything with people. And this is it. You just always have to work with people, you have to just deal with people, and so on. And therefore, just being able to deal with the people and being able to just be social, be just interested in the people, having the ability to talk with them, just building a conversation with them, and so on. Just making a great atmosphere so that people actually like to be around you, like to talk about you, not like to talk about you, like like to talk with you, and so on, I think it's actually a way to really upgrade your career. You know, I think even though, you know, the corporate world may seem, you know, like, you know, so without feelings and something like this, but I think actually there are a lot of feelings involved. You know, there are a lot of things involved that has to do with, you know, whether I like this person or I don't like this person. You know, if he is, you know, good at his skills or he has great skills, doesn't matter then that much, in my point of view at least. But yeah. Then there are questions, the 10 questions to ask yourself. The first one is, why did he or she start with whatever it is they are doing? The second one is, what are the main benefits their followers, clients, customers receive from what they do? The third one is, what are their followers, clients, customers' biggest problems? And this actually kind of applies for you to being like, okay, I do have the solution for the problems your clients have. And then they might be like, okay, you know, I want to employ you, I want to know what you have to say, and so on. What are the biggest frustrations of the person you're contacting in having to provide a solution to this? Fifth one is, how can you help them? Where is your proof? Sixth one is, what specifically can you help them with? And what can you do? What can you not help them with? The seventh one is, what tasty tips, information can you give right away? Why wouldn't they want you to work for them? What objections might they give? What's the dream of them or for them in what they are working? So what is the dream? What is that dream, you know, in quote unquote, for them in what they are working towards? And lastly, what is the nightmare? Actually, pretty nice questions, you know, and definitely picking a few out of them, just going through them, putting them into scenarios, just seeing what this is all about, how can you apply it to you, what this just means to you if you ask yourself, what this could mean to somebody else if you ask them, and so on and so on and so on. Your aim when meeting a mentor isn't to pitch them from out of nowhere, it's to build an initial level of familiarity and, if possible, to get to know a member of their team and urge. Is it encourage? I think it's read encourage. No, it's encourage. Encourage. Is it encourage? Encourage. I think it's encourage. It's ENTOURAGE. So when you meet them, try to stand out and distinguish yourself. A safe option would be to get a small gift like a book. I'm talking about an empathetically thought out gift that will help them with a specific problem or issue, and maybe even a problem of their clients or whatsoever. If at all possible, when you go along to meet someone, if they have people with them, friends, co-workers or family, try and get to know one or two of these people as well. Totally. I do quite feel like just, you know, talking with someone when other people are around kind of feels for me like a little strange, you know, really kind of strange, because it kind of feels for me like, okay, I'm kind of missing out everyone else and I'm not just giving any attention to anyone but, you know, the main person I came for. And this is something that quite bothers me. I always try to just ask the other people as well, just, you know, look at them at least in the eyes and just kind of making them feel like, okay, I'm also trying to contact them, I'm also kind of trying to communicate with them, and so on and so on and so on. Important for me, at least. I don't know, I've heard it once, I think, I'm not sure. But maybe I've heard it once that other people said that this is, or seems to be also important, and maybe I'm just making it up. I don't know, just, you know, let's leave it out. As soon as you've met someone, follow up right away with a thank you email. The aim here is simply to open a dialogue you can return to. And something that I've talked about and something that I quite was reading about as well before, definitely something you should do. Sending them a thank you email, or an email you kind of recap what you've been talking about, and especially pointing out certain things that you especially liked. Why? Because you showed that they actually kept attention to what they were speaking, you kept attention to what the whole conversation was all about, and so on and so on. And therefore they just, feel better. Maybe they just feel like, okay, you just were kind of absent mentally all the fucking time, and just recapping it and saying, okay, I like this about our conversation, and whatever, kinda could, make it clean again. But yeah, I think this is actually it. I think this is it. 30 minutes in, always great, because I do just have a lot to do this weekend. I do just have to do a lot for school, and then my stuff as well, which I'm basically always just kind of doing the whole fucking weekend long. I'm basically only doing my stuff, and then I do just have to do something for school, which is totally a lot as well, but it should work. But yeah. With that being said, and with the episode ending quite here on the end screen, I hope you have a wonderful day, or you had a wonderful day or night, and I wish you just the best health, wealth, happiness and success. But do not remember, or do not forget to remember, just thinking about your legacy a little bit and thinking about giving back to the people, which is actually something that we're talking about here on the episode as well. But with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, hope you're doing good, and I'll see you tomorrow.